Unfortunately, your engagement, for anyone out there watching or listening, when you get engaged, and to this couple specifically, your engagement might be the most exciting thing in everyone else's life, which is a huge concern.
Yeah.
And also kind of special in its own way.
Cute. If we spent more time, energy, and money on our actual life, on our actual relationship, on our actual foundations of the we, instead of what different colored forks or chairs or like croissant, I don't even know the verbiage because I refuse to spend that energy and time. I know that couples would be 20 times plus fulfilled in love. Conscious couples, business partners, and individuals, welcome to the Conscious Couples podcast, where we share our life, love story, and relationship expertise to help you consistently cultivate the most magnificent relationship possible.
Never again will you feel hopeless and alone in your intimate relationship challenges. We'll help you have the courage to be your authentic self, communicate effectively, and constructively resolve conflict.
Having accumulated thousands of hours coaching, speaking, podcasting, and hosting live events with conscious couples all over the world, Alan and I are here to guide you in all things relationships.
Thank you again for tuning into the one place where it's not about you or me, it's about the we.
Conscious couples and individuals, welcome back to the one and only Conscious Couples podcast. You get Emilia and I fresh in the morning. Today we have episode 192, How Strong is Your Relationship's Foundation? Picture a pyramid. We're talking about the foundation today. Before I jump into this episode, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to Next Level Podcast Solutions for producing this show and so many others. It's actually 70 now.
Whoop.
So we've gotten a lot of new clients lately. We've gotten a lot of new clients lately. Wow, it's early. This is actually round 2 of this episode because the first one we had a video debacle. But So Emilia did everything in her power to get it back.
Yeah.
And so now we are here for you, and we are going to try to make it even better this time. So, sweetheart, what is your intention for today's episode?
My intention, speaking of the foundation and the pyramid, all you have to do is look on YouTube. What's behind us is the we pyramid. And so my intention for this episode is to help couples understand where they can, in their relationship, find and establish a core foundation that will last a lifetime of conscious love growing together, not apart. And that is going to be through the exercise and the PDF that we have for every single listener today. So really excited.
Okay, so this was sparked, as we do often, from one of our clients. So one of our clients, a couple, just got engaged.
Shout out to you.
Yes. If you're listening, shout out to you. And on our Relationship Talks coaching session, they actually said, we have big news. And they pulled out the ring. They sent us photos. It was a whole thing. So shout out to you. And then Emilia and I, more me than you, in traditional us fashion, immediately went into what we call linebacker, where if you're on YouTube, you'll see me doing this. I lean in. And I have my remarkable in front of me. I'm ready to roadmap all of the next steps. So you guys are engaged now, so let's build the future. And so I sufficiently overwhelmed them with all of their next steps. And you have the list, love. So once you get engaged, there's the traditional quote unquote path of Jack and Jill, bachelorette party, house, children, boom, 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 engagement party. And again, I don't know the list by heart, but immediately there is a whole bunch of traditional steps that a lot of people take that you and I believe have been very commercialized.
Yeah.
And you've done more research on this than me, but if you think about all of the money that stacks up over time we were at the Biltmore in North Carolina last week, and there was someone having a wedding there, and you and I were thinking to ourselves, so that's a gorgeous wedding.
Gorgeous.
But that must be at least $300,000, if not more, for that one evening.
Right.
So weddings and all of this stuff can stack up financially, but also it can end up being more about others than yourself.
Yeah, and what I was thinking about for this episode is, I shared this with Alan behind the scenes, was What if we were able to inspire conscious couples to spend more time, energy, and money on their relationship and the foundation of their relationship that allows, like I said, my intention, that allows their love to last a lifetime? And I know it sounds corny and cheesy, but like genuinely, what if your every single day was that level of elation in pockets throughout your day because you and your partner decided to scrap the traditional stuff that is commercialized? And let's be real, and we said this with this couple, it's not really about you at the end of the day. And trust me, I know, because I'm behind the scenes with brides and their post-bride depression is real.
So how many clients have you had that have gone through this process in the last couple of years?
In the last couple of years, I want to say 8+.
Okay, so you've been through the whole
The
pre-bride,
whole-
engagement,
Yeah.
bachelor party, bachelorette party, engagement party,
Everything.
wedding, all the money, all that.
Yeah, it's a lot of money and
Yeah.
it's a lot of energy and it's a lot of time that what I see is, and this is what I warn my clients about, it pulls away from what actually is and what is most important to them, which is their love, their relationship.
Yeah, that's
which
the
it's
point.
like at the end of the day, when you spend all this time, energy, and money for, like, you're caring about the different colors of chairs. And again, I'm not knocking on that. I know a lot of women in particular have been literally systemically ingrained to make sure that their entire life revolves around that one day, which is, there's so many things that are wrong with that, but I won't get into that.
Yeah.
And that their value is only in being a married woman. However, if we spent more time, energy, and money on our actual life, on our actual relationship, on our actual foundations of the we,
Yeah.
instead of what different colored forks or chairs or like croissant, I don't even know the verbiage because I refuse to spend that energy and time. I know that couples would be 20 times plus fulfilled in love and actually be able to be the parents, if they so choose to have children, the parents that they told themselves their entire life they never wanted themselves to fall into. They're going to be the opposite of that. A lot of couples say, I don't want to be like my mom and my dad, and I want to do it better. But yet the time, energy, and money, they're letting the traditional path, if you will, distract them from that. So we said to this couple, we were like, okay, so a lot of this is commercialized, and they agreed. They were like, well, we're kind of thinking about eloping. I'm like, all right, so you guys are already on the non-traditional path.
Yeah.
And let's go. And they're like, well, what are the kind of steps, guys? We just got engaged Monday, and this was Wednesday. And so Alan and I were like, okay, well, what we've learned, and again, there's different cultures have different paths and different steps, but what we've learned is that there's like the engagement party, the bridal shower, bachelorette, bachelor party, rehearsal dinner, wedding, elopement, wedding reception, and then if you have baby showers, it's a lot.
Yeah.
If you're not getting overwhelmed just hearing this, I don't know what will.
It is a lot. I'm overwhelmed just listening to the list.
Right.
But this couple, by the way, is expecting as well, and it's a girl, and they named her and all that. So we'll keep all that anonymous, of course, but we're excited. So they are doing it. They're in it. And Emilia and I, number one, more Emilia than me, but she warned them, if you allow everyone else to take the reins of this process, because I tell Emilia all the time, I don't want to be at the top of this mountain not in love. Meaning we can't let the business take priority over our love. If you focus more on the marriage than you do the wedding, you're much better off.
Yeah.
Some people focus more on the wedding photos and the wedding venue and all that than they do the actual marriage, and then they end up really falling apart. And then there's the post-wedding depression that can happen and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
But what we did is we brought it, and more Emilia than me, but we brought it back to the core values.
Yeah.
And that's what we're here to talk to you guys about today. So we've got 11 minutes on the clock.
And here's why. Sorry to interrupt you, but because I had asked, okay, you guys, you have the ring now. You guys are really excited. And they were like over the moon, which of course, like we want to celebrate that. But I said, okay, so now the ring's there. You guys are doing life together. Like, what really makes that different? You know, what does it mean now to the both of you to have this quote unquote ring? Like, what does that represent? So what is the meaning? So we're bringing them to the meaning.
So what does it mean to be engaged was the question you asked.
Yeah.
And they both came up with commitment.
Yeah. What does it mean to be married now to your partner? And how is that any different than how you guys are showing up for each other today or a couple days ago prior to?
Yeah.
And they had said they both landed on the word commitment. So what it meant to them was, no matter what, I've always got your back. I'll always be there, even when you fall, and especially when you fall. And both of them kind of went back and forth around their definitions of commitment. And that's when Alan and I said, okay, that's one of your core values. And so we asked them, do you guys have, your individual core values. And they started to think about it, and it's like, okay, well, what we're going to do instead of looking at all those events, because when you guys share all these, we're engaged, all that stuff, people are now going to start asking you, when's the engagement party? What are you guys doing? All these things that puts that pressure on just because you want to belong with your social groups, expectations of what you should do. And we don't want to have you guys fall into that trap. We want to have your values decide what you guys want and don't want for you. So let's clarify that.
Unfortunately, your engagement, for anyone out there watching or listening, when you get engaged, and to this couple specifically, your engagement might be the most exciting thing in everyone else's life, which is a huge concern.
Yeah.
And also kind of special in its own way.
Cute.
A little over a year and a half ago, I attended my first relationship call with Alan and Emilia. And as a single mother, I was very curious what I was actually going to be able to take away from it. I was very blown away with how deep we could actually go in that first session alone. It really opened the doors and opened my eyes to a lot of my patterning and wounding around relationships. Through attending some of their live events and through work with them, I have really grown in confidence, in learning how to love and show up for myself, which has been huge. And it's really set the bar high when in terms of standards for relationships and what I desire and need out of a relationship. They very much practice what they preach, and it's so nice to see people working consciously on relationships. Again, it's really set the bar high for what I look for and what I desire in a relationship. So I'm super grateful to be able to learn and grow from them and be a part of this community.
So you have a digital asset that we're going to be putting in the show notes. So it's actually up on the big screen up here. So where do your values overlap? So what we had this couple do, we're going to have you do for homework, which is each of them individually take some time alone, think about what your core values are. We have some examples here that Emilia and I wrote out from all of our past clients over the last 5 years. I'm going to literally read them all. And then you come together and figure out the core values for the we.
Yeah.
And it's a Venn diagram. So it's the me one, me two, and then it becomes the we. And you and I have ours actually above our kitchen, which I put up.
You did.
You bought them and I put them. Thank you.
They're like little wooden signs of like
they're beautiful.
The words. They are beautiful.
They're beautiful. And so kudos to you for getting them. Thank you.
Kudos to you for making
that
them.
That took me probably 2 or 3 hours to put those up there. I had to make sure they were perfectly placed. But anyways, so ours are optimize, align, and erudite. And optimize means you're constantly improving and optimizing for something. In our case, the mission. Align means you are in alignment with who you are and who you aspire to be. And then erudite means you're super smart. No, it means you're constantly learning and love science and everything knowledge.
And helping the world get better through that application of 100%. What we learn, which is what we're doing here today.
And even that is a very summarized version of and we've done this in length. So the examples that we came up with, and this is Emilia and I sitting down behind the scenes thinking, okay, over the last 5 years, we've coached couples and individuals from all over the world. What are some of the common core values we notice to give you a start, okay? So if you are not driving, write these down. If you are, just pay attention, come back to this later. Examples of core values. So the first one is kindness, love. I'm going to hammer right through these. Kindness, love, adventure, respect, integrity, family, success, education, community, money. Now, for anyone out there watching or listening, I want you to think which ones you perk up by.
Yeah.
If you perk up and there's an opening, so for me, success, that was an opening. Conscious parenting, courage, work ethic, humility, growth, vulnerability, health, honesty, joy, safety, trust, legacy, huge biceps. I'm joking. Status is on here. These are... Sometimes I make jokes just for Emilia. She's smiling right now.
Oh, my.
I'm literally joking. All right. So nice. You can't even contain it. I love it. All right. So that is not my core value.
Humor.
Yeah, humor should be on here. So once you have, and you got to tease this down to just 3,
Yeah.
Because if you have too many, it gets blurry. You want to be a meaningful specific, not a wandering generality. And so it's very hard to hone these down. I've done this with clients for years, especially the more feminine clients or female clients. They want to embody everything.
Oh, yeah.
And you've dealt with that as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I guess what would you say?
So one of the things that I'm really glad that we're encouraging our clients to listen to this, because what I've found is that, and I'm so happy that you mentioned the sense your body for the opening, because our bodies hold so much of what is so true to us that our minds try to trick us that is not. So like, for example, when Alan just said success opens to me, you might have heard some inner narrative be like, yeah, that's kind of important to me, but maybe not really important to me. It's not the 10 out of 10 important to me, right? That's your mind trying to play tricks because you want to some degree belong or feel significant
or you've been
special,
made to feel bad for that.
Right.
So for me, the word achievement would have been even better than success, but yeah, it's more opening than I thought.
And
genuinely.
That's what's so important. When you listen to this or listen back to it, I strongly encourage our listeners to close their eyes and attune to what their body does. Because the body, like you said, will open up or kind of close down or you'll feel this like tension of convincing for one or another. Now, here's the thing. When you go through, initially, that's a great list. You can also refer to the PDF and read it. Some processors do read things, and that connects to them. But when you can do it,
are these on the PDF?
I believe the large majority of them are. I hadn't cross-referenced, and I didn't have time for that. But when you have someone else reading these, that's why it can also be really fun to do as a couple. If you can have your partner read things to you, and you can like have them mark it down, and then eventually you go through a second time and you say, okay, hone it down to 5. Okay, eventually then you only end up with 3, and then order and syntax, what's the most important out of those 3, the second most important, and the third most important. And you have to give yourself permission to leverage the law of constraints, because if you're not leveraging the law of constraints, you're going to be saying everything is important to us. And while that might be true, we want to hold the duality that in the finite worlds, what's going to actually make the decisions, which is why values matter, right? So for example, you're in that moment, this couple's in that moment where they tell their family, we just got engaged, and someone all of a sudden asks, oh, you guys going to have an engagement party? They can literally already have within themselves their values deciding yes or no. Here's what we're going to do instead, which is what the values decided for them. And that's why values are so powerful, because you know who you are, you know what matters to you, and you love that about you, and you don't have the social pressure sway you one way or another. And so that's where the benefit of constraints come in, because 3 values decide for you the path that you want to take, whether it be the engagement party or something else.
I remember when I was back in college, I was everything for everyone and nothing for myself. And what I mean by that is I had someone come up to me and say, you are the most popular person on this campus. And at the time, I remember thinking that was awesome. I was like, that's awesome. That's exactly what I'm going for. Looking back at 36, I realized that there was 12 fraternities, 5 sororities. I was part of every club, smart kids, jocks, snowboarding, all this. I did too much and I spread myself too thin. I was a wandering generality and I wasn't a meaningful specific, and I didn't have enough clarity on my core values. If I had done this exercise, I would have been far more fulfilled, because I ended up sort of empty at one point where I was spread too thin and I didn't have a good grounding on who I was. I was kind of a chameleon fitting in all these different groups, and I really did lose myself. And then my car accident happened at 26, and I got very clear in here first, and then became very discerning. Young kids, like college kids or high school kids, they're not very discerning. Hey, do you want to go to the mall? Yeah. Do you want to go to see this movie that you don't even like? Yeah. Do you want to hang out with so-and-so person? Yeah. As you get older and older and hopefully wiser, you stop saying yes to everything and you start being more discerning. And that the core values are going to help you and your partner set yourself up to make sure that what's most important to you stays most important to you, because in the 21st century there's infinite things you can do, but that doesn't mean there's infinite things you should do.
Right. And our biological need to belong, it drives us. So unless you have your core values, that need for belonging outweighs everything that matters to you. So that's why you might feel icky after you do something with people. You say yes to something, you go into a situation, or let's say you have an engagement party and then you look at your bank account and all you see is regret, because like we really didn't need to do this. We really didn't even want to do this. And everyone knows that feeling. So clarity is the foundation of every relationship, and where you start is the core values. So click the link in the show notes to download that PDF. And lastly, I would love for anyone who's listening to this to join us at our next Relationship Talks event. This is going to be how to set and crush goals with your partner. If you're listening to this right now, we're literally going to be hosting that this Wednesday of this week. So please join us for that. Core values, what you build upon that is then your core goals as a partner. And we're so excited to be able to join everyone in that exercise that we're going to have this coming Wednesday.
We have 57 individuals, conscious couples from all over the world in a private WhatsApp group. If you are not yet in that, DM Emilia or myself on Instagram. We will get back to you. That will be us. It will not be an AI bot. And if you, like this couple, want to build your future together and guarantee that it's bright and bigger and better over time and not worse and worse and worse, like a lot of times what happens with couples and people. And if you want to guarantee that you grow together, not apart, we have Relationship Talks coaching. Emilia and I will line back to make sure, and if you're on YouTube, I just moved forward, to make sure that you two are not only wildly in love, but also very, very, very successful. So click the link in the show notes for the first one. It's free. First one's free. And as always, it's not about you or me. It's about the we.
The we.
We'll talk to you next time.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of the Conscious Couples podcast. We love connecting with the Conscious Couples community, so please check the show notes to connect with us and say hello on social media.
If you and your partner resonated with this episode, please leave us a 5-star review at the link in the show notes and share this with someone you love. Until next time, it's not about you or me, it's about the we. We'll talk to you next time.